Hello and welcome to Krafts by Katelyn. Today I'm sharing with you 3 beautiful farmhouse DIYs using a $1 calendar from Dollar Tree. Make sure you stay tuned to see how I put everything together. I'd love it if you would subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. For the first DIY, I'm using one of these rectangular Welcome to Paradise signs, and Dollar Tree always has a variety of these rectangular signs, so you can pick up any one that you see. And I go ahead and remove the hanger and the label from the back, and then I'm going to be using a $1 calendar to do all of these 3 projects today, which turned out so fun, and it was such a fun little challenge to try to make 3 things using this calendar, and I was actually pretty excited myself for how everything turned out. I think it was really cute. But Dollar Tree right now has out beautiful 2020 calendars, and they are so pretty. A lot of them have some of the farmhouse decor in there. But to get started on this project, I actually chose this image, and I was so happy that there was actually 2 of these. There was the preview in the front of this Love the Little Things, and then this also was the December page, so I was able to use 2 of them. I wanted to scoot the heart toward the right side as far as possible, and then I'm just trimming off the sides of the other image so that I can make these look like extra planks to fill out the rest of the picture. After I had everything laid out and made sure that I really liked how it looked and the order that it was in, I went ahead and flipped everything over and gave it a nice thick coat of the Mod Podge, and I am using this in the satin finish, and this does just give it a glossy coating, and this will make it more durable. So after I got the largest main image down, I just went ahead and Mod Podged these little planks on there, and I thought this was such a neat idea to be able to overlap them, and they really do look like they are one piece. After I got everything Mod Podged, you're not able to see the seam as much, and these just went together perfect. I love the color of this turquoise Barnwood. I think it is so pretty, and it will incorporate a lot of the turquoise in my home as well as the grays and the blacks, and I love the pattern in that heart, and this was just so pretty. I honestly cannot believe it came from the Dollar Tree. It's just a beautiful print. I'm going to go ahead and turn my sign over so that I can trim the excess off. I didn't want to take the time to sand off all of the glitter and the image on the back to paint it, so I think after all my projects are finished today, I am going to just cut like a piece of brown craft paper, and I'll just glue that on the back to hide the ugly back side. I tried to let my Mod Podge dry for quite a while before I applied more Mod Podge over the top of the image, so I didn't get a lot of bubbles in this, but I do think it's very necessary to seal this off because there were so many pieces on that one edge. After it was completely dry, I was loving how it looked. I picked up this little Dollar Tree photo frame a while back. I have still seen them at my store, but I thought this was perfect to add to this. But it's just this natural wood little frame in like the kids crafty section where the googly eyes and pipe cleaners are. And I'm going to give this a nice thick coat of my Elephant Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm just going to print off an image from my computer and insert in this. These little frames don't have a glass or plexiglass cover like I thought that they do, so I did end up just putting a layer of Mod Podge over the top of that, but I do recommend maybe Mod Podging this to the back of the frame, the little wood square that comes out of the center of the frame, because I think this would hold it more steady inside the frame. Because the background is so shiny from my Mod Podge, I wanted to go ahead and add that over the flat chalk paint just to make sure everything blended in. And then, like I said, I did go over our image. It made it bubble up a little bit because I did not truly glue it down to the back like I should have, but I still think that it looks really cute and it turned out really good. And I just ended up tacking my frame down with some hot glue, but I love how this came together. I think it is so pretty, and this is honestly something that I will keep for a very long time. It's just so beautiful and matches with all of my farmhouse decor.
When we go out, it's always fun. You pick me up when I'm down, and that's just one of many things that.
For this second DIY, I'm going to be using that same Welcome to Paradise rectangular sign. I've already removed the jute string hanger as well as the sticky labels on the back, and I'm giving this a nice thick coat of my Waverly chalk paint just to give it a nice white base. And then I want this to look like shiplap or white barnwood or whatever you want to call it. So I ended up taking my ruler, and I picked these clear rulers up from Dollar Tree as well. They are so nice to have on hand. Using my Sharpie black paint marker, they will be linked down below if you want to go pick those up. I'm going to just make these the width of the ruler. It is so simple just to slide the ruler up and finish the lines out and do this. I do like to start in the center so that I do not have larger planks, and then whenever I get to the opposite side I have one smaller one. If that makes sense, I like to have two smaller ones on the edges. To give this more of a farmhouse, maybe weathered look, I added some of my Waverly chalk paint in the elephant color, and I'm just trying to dry brush this by emptying out my brush as much as possible, and then paying special attention to the edges and adding some of the gray over the top of the white paint. After adding the dry brushing on there, I love to go over projects with sandpaper. It not only lightens up all the distressing, all that dark gray color, but it also makes the dark black lines look more rustic and lightens them up as well. So for this project, I'm not going to be Mod Podging anything from the calendar on there, but I'm actually going to be using this jar as a stencil, which worked out perfect. So this is all in the same calendar. I only gave $1 for this calendar. So I just want to remind you that I'm not buying $1 per project. I was able to get all of these projects out of this one calendar. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cut out this jar, and then I did think that I would trace the entire image on this sign, but I wanted to add flowers into it and it was just really large, so I ended up folding it over and making a smaller jar to trace on my sign.
How'd you do? I'm not broken, I'm just split in two. Hope you're fine, ain't got time to do everything you said you would. Frames of the past and the memory of you just come running.
I wanted to go ahead and add some color into this project too, so I'm using the Agave color in the Waverly chalk paint. This is a beautiful turquoise color, and I love how that turquoise color just pops on top of that rustic white wood. I did go ahead and paint the entire jar. I let it dry, and then I took a piece of sandpaper to kind of go over it and not only give it more of a rustic look, but I love the effect of whenever I did go over it with the sandpaper. It almost gave it the translucent effect like it was a real mason jar.
Pictures of sunny days with your smile in the bar. How could they say I was broken? How could they say you made
So I just picked up a couple different little floral stems from Dollar Tree. I love these little flowers with the burlap incorporated into them. And then I also am going to be using some of these fall mums, but I think that this is a flower that you could use all year. They're just cute little white puffy flowers. And I'm also going to be using some of the dark green leaves to give them a little bit of color in the background. I did have to cut off the back of the stems and then just hot glued them directly on top of the jar.
Unlike my friends, you are nothing like them. How could they say I was broken? How could they say you made me come undone? Now I know that it's okay. Unlike my friends, you are nothing like them.
So then I made a super simple, cute little Lacey ribbon, a little bow to tie to the top of the jar, and then I wanted to add a word on here, And instead of printing off a stencil or using wood letters, I wanted to use this calendar as much as I could. I love this cute little blessed word. This is out of the same calendar, and I just trim it out, and I tried to trace behind this and then trace it on, but the calendar paper is really slick and shiny, so I did end up having to put a piece of printer paper that I scribbled on underneath of this so that I could use it like transfer paper.
Even wear that shirt you wanted to. My friends think I'm lame. Since I met you, I am not the same. It was not meant to.
After I had it all traced out and loved how it looked, I just went over it with one of my black Sharpie paint markers, and I find this so satisfying. I just love filling in all these little stencils with these black paint markers. They are just so easy to use.
I was broken. How could they say you made me come undone? Now I know that it's okay. Unlike my friends, you are nothing like them. How could they say I was broken? How could they say you made me come undone? Now I know that it's okay. Unlike my friends, you are nothing like them.
Then I just added a jute string hanger so I would be able to hang this up on the wall. You also could use rope or fill in the holes, but I thought this was so pretty. This is so customizable. You could change the color of the jar or change out the flowers to be more fall or something that you could use all year. I love how this turned out, and I love the pop of color that it adds in my kitchen.
How could they say I was broken? How could they say you made me come undone? Now I know that it's okay. Unlike my
And for this last DIY, I'm using a different sign. I'm actually using one of these square ocean signs, and I just really liked the square look of this one. So I am removing the jute string hanger and then using my calendar. I love this little home sign. It says home, the story of who we are, and the collection of all the things we love. I just thought that was really cute, and this is perfect for any farmhouse decor. It is so pretty. It already has the white rustic wood on the back. So using some of my truffle brown paint, I wanted this to look as if it had a frame around it, so I just went ahead and painted the edges with this brown paint, as well as about 1.5 inches around the edges of this sign.
something new, then I would have what it takes. Make you feel like you're safe, 'cause all I need is just someone like you, someone like you, someone like you. Yeah, I just need someone like you, someone like you.
To get this to be a perfect square and fit exactly in the center of this sign, I did have to try to measure along the edges of where it needed to be. I knew I wanted to remove that top little calendar hole, so I wanted to go ahead and trim the top and the bottom off first, and then just try to measure how much I needed off of the edges.
You don't have to feel like this, yeah, we could try to leave it all behind. And we don't have to think about it, oh baby, try to rest your mind. I wanna catch you like every time that you fall. I wanna give you the world that is outside your wall. If I could, I would get something new, then I would have what it takes, make you feel like.
After I like the way that it was all trimmed down, I'm adding some more of my Mod Podge to the back of this. And Mod Podge is just the easiest way that I can find to attach these signs to this and get them to look like they were actually made to be like this. So I centered it as much as possible, and I just love how this looks like it is a framed sign. And if you include the calendar being $1, I literally have $2 in this cute little farmhouse sign. So it's just a really neat way to be able to make homemade decor that matches your decor, and instead of going and buying expensive farmhouse decor from high-end stores. I let the Mod Podge completely dry, and it dries a beautiful clear, and I paired it with just this cute little ceramic bird that I picked up from Brooks Outlet, as well as some more little decor that I already had. But I thought it was so pretty. Let me know in the comments below which one of these DIYs was your favorite, and what's something that you would make with one of these $1 calendars. I would love to know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!